with Steven from Fantasy Flight, and he's going to tell us about the new game, Fury of Dracula, that's coming out.
Fury of Dracula is a third edition of the classic game that Games Workshop published in the 1980s. Fantasy Flight picked it up about 10 years ago, but we're re-releasing it. But it's not just a reprint. There are a bunch of changes, much more streamlined combat, a lot more fun. If you love hidden movement games like Scotland Yard, definitely check this one out. It's going to be awesome.
Way cool. So how many players does it play?
It plays up to 5. One person is Dracula, and 4 people as the investigators.
Okay, and how long does it take to play?
It's 2 to 3 hours. You can get it done to 2 if you've been playing a few times before.
That's awesome. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right,
have a great one.
You too.
So none of you played the other editions pretty much?
I played the second edition.
Oh, second edition.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of it will be familiar. There are several changes, but for the most part, pretty new. So normally you would start yourself in a spot or whatever. I'm being a little bit, I'm setting it up for you just for the sake of the demo.
Sure.
There's going to be a couple times where I'll be like, okay, this is what you do for your action. I'm going to decide for you just so we can keep it moving for the demo.
Sure,
Obviously, that wouldn't happen in real life. So the object of the game for you guys as the investigators is completely cooperative for you 4 against Dracula. No one playing the Dracula player. So 4 against 1, okay? Now the main thing here is that you don't have to have 5 players, but you always have 4 investigators. If you have 2 people, you each control 2 or something like that, okay? The game takes place over 3 weeks, which will generally take 2 to 3 hours to play. And then every day, you'll get 2 actions. One during the day, when it's safe, and one at night when it's not safe.
If you get stuck underneath the stack.
And this is how we're going to track that here, is that we're going to go through that. We'll get through a couple of days worth of turns, show you a combat, and then we'll call the end of the demo, okay? So, the most common action you're going to do during the day is to move, which is to move along these red lines here, okay? That's the only way that Dracula can work. You cannot move on the faster ones, which is the trail, the trains, the yellow and the white. Another action you can do, that you've been doing a lot, is to take a train ticket, right? And these train tickets have numbers on them. Now, when the book was written in the 1900s, the western side of the continent was much more developed than the eastern side of the continent was. And so, because of that, to simulate that, the white trains are much better than the yellow trains are. And so the train tickets say you can travel 3 trails if there's white, or if any of them are yellow, only 2. All right? So you travel faster on that side of the continent than this side of the continent. Okay, so those are the 2 most common things you're doing. The next most common thing you'll be doing is to gather supplies. That's called a supply action. And that's to take items out of here and encounter cards out of here. You always get an encounter card, but you only get an item card if you're in a big city, which are the squares. The diamonds are the small cities, you'll only get the encounter card. I started you guys all in big cities just for the sake of this, but that's probably what you want to do, is you'll want to start kind of spread out, because you don't know where Dracula is yet. At the beginning of the game, this is what it would look like, okay? You guys would all pick your starting locations. I have a deck, and I'll get to you on the camera here. I have a deck of all the location cards in the game. Okay?
Cool.
And I take one, and I put it face down here, so I get to see where you start, and then I put myself down, and then the little figure here in case you want to. So I put this down here, and then every turn, I will slide all these over and put a new one down. Okay? And if you walk onto any of those locations, I will show you that I was there. So if it was over here, you would know 4 turns ago, this is where Dracula was.
That's cool.
Okay? So for the sake of the demo, we're going to pretend that I've already taken 3 turns, just because of the fact that we want to kind of get it moving along a bit.
Sure.
So these other cards sitting on top of there are called the encounter cards. And so there'll always be an encounter card on top of here. Now the encounter cards are nasty stuff I get to do to you when you move to that location.
Okay.
There might be other vampires or wolves or bats, or nasty stuff that can happen to you. So we're going to start the first turn, and it always starts with the Lord, which starts number 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the upper left-hand corner. Now, you have, this is how many hit points you have. So if you take damage equal to your hit points, then you got to go. You're not out. There's no player elimination. So you lose all your items. You lose all your cards and stuff, and the Dracula scores 2 points. And if he gets a 13 influence, game over. Okay? You win only by killing Dracula, who's got 15 hit points. So it takes a lot to kill him.